Greetings, people. Welcome to Twashta. Today, again, we have a question from section C of CSIR Net December 2019, and it says in the table below, column A lists ligands and column B lists classes of receptors. So, we have certain ligands or signaling molecules in column A, and in column B, we have description of the receptors that they bind to, and we have been asked to find out the correct match. Here, I would encourage you to pause the video and read the options and try to attempt this question. In order to attempt this question, we need to have knowledge of the type of receptors that are present and what kind of ligands or signaling molecules bind to them. Let us start with ion channel coupled receptors. They're also called transmitter gated ion channels or inotropic receptors. They're present in postsynaptic plasma membrane at the synapse, and they're responsible for rapidly converting extracellular signals into electrical signals. So basically, these receptors are involved in signaling between excitable cells such as nerve and muscle cells. Now, as the name itself suggests, ion channel coupled receptors. The receptor is coupled to an ion channel, and these receptors control the opening or closing of the ion channel in response to signal molecules that are usually neurotransmitters. For example, here we can see that the channel is closed and the ions are not able to cross the plasma membrane. In the presence of a signal molecule, that is neurotransmitter, the channel opens and the ions are able to cross the plasma membrane. So these are ion channel coupled receptors. Now, neurotransmitters that bind to these inotropic receptors or ion channel coupled receptors are acetylcholine, glutamate, gamma aminobutyric acid, and glycine. Acetylcholine and glutamate are excitatory in nature, whereas gamma aminobutyric acid or GABA and glycine are inhibitory in nature. Although acetylcholine can either excite or inhibit depending upon the type of receptor it binds to. However, not all chemical signaling in the nervous system operates through these inotropic ligand gated ion channels. There is another category of receptors that regulate these ion channels, and they are called metabotropic receptors. So, these metabotropic receptors are G protein coupled receptors, and they regulate ion channels indirectly through the activation of certain secondary messenger molecules. In one of the previous videos, I have discussed GPCRs, G protein coupled receptors. So I won't go into details of GPCRs in this video. But in brief, I would just say that in the presence of a neurotransmitter, the signaling molecule, the receptor would activate the coupled G protein, and then G protein would activate secondary messenger molecules, and these secondary messenger molecules would regulate the opening or closing of the ion channel. So this is how they work, and the example of neurotransmitter that binds to metabotropic receptor is serotonin. Confusingly enough, acetylcholine, glutamate, and GABA also bind to these receptors, but the important example here is that of serotonin. Next, we have enzyme coupled receptors. They are also transmembrane proteins with their ligand binding domain on the outer surface of the plasma membrane. Instead of having a cytosolic domain that associates with a trimeric G protein in case of GPCRs, cytosolic domain in case of enzyme coupled receptors either has intrinsic enzyme activity or it is directly associated with an enzyme. So let us first talk about receptor tyrosine kinases or RTKs. It is the most common class of enzyme coupled receptors. The cytoplasmic part of this receptor has tyrosine kinase domain. I hope everyone is aware that an active tyrosine kinase will phosphorylate at tyrosine residue. Now, in the absence of a signaling molecule, the receptor is present as monomers, and the tyrosine kinase domain is also inactive in this case. Binding of ligand or signaling molecule brings two monomers together to form a dimer, and this dimerization activates the tyrosine kinase domains. The activated kinase domains then phosphorylate each other at tyrosines and generate docking sites for intracellular signaling proteins. These signaling proteins further get activated and they relay the signal downstream. Now, the signal proteins, the ligands that act via RTKs are vascular endothelial growth factor, platelet derived growth factor, epidermal growth factor, insulin like growth factor, fibroblast growth factor, nerve growth factor, and ephrin. Now, these are some important ligands that act via RTKs, and remembering these would prove to be beneficial according to me. Next, we have JAK-STAT signaling pathway. This signaling pathway includes a class of receptors that rely on cytoplasmic tyrosine kinases to relay signals into the cell, and this class of receptors is called cytokine receptors. These receptors are stably associated with cytoplasmic tyrosine kinases called Janus kinases or JAKs, and they do exist as monomers in the absence of ligand. The binding of the signaling molecule causes the monomers to dimerize, and this brings the associated JAKs together so that they can phosphorylate each other on tyrosines and become fully activated. They further phosphorylate the receptors to generate binding sites for another cytoplasmic protein called the STAT protein. Now, these STATs bind to the phosphorylated tyrosine sites through a domain called the SH2 domain. The JAKs phosphorylate these STATs as well, after which the STATs dissociate from the receptor and form dimers with the SH2 domain of one STAT binding to the phosphorylated tyrosine on the other STAT. They then enter the nucleus to control gene expression. Now, the examples of signal proteins that act via JAK-STAT signaling pathway are interferon alpha, interferon gamma, erythropoietin, growth hormone, prolactin, and GM-CSF, that is granulocyte macrophage colony stimulating factor. Now, coming back to our question, let's see what does the column B says, and so that we can match it with column A. Now, the first option in column B is binding activates a G protein which activates or inhibits an enzyme that generates a specific secondary messenger and opens ion channel. So they're talking about metabotropic receptors, if you remember, and serotonin is the neurotransmitter that binds to it. Second option is binding causes receptor monomers to dimerize. Dimeric receptor then interacts with and activates one or more cytosolic tyrosine protein kinases. So obviously they are talking about JAK-STAT signaling pathway, and we now know that interferons act via JAK-STAT signaling pathway. The third option is binding changes the conformation of the receptor so that specific ions flow through it. They are talking about ion channel coupled receptor, and glycine is the neurotransmitter that binds to these ionotropic receptors. Last, we have binding leads to activation of intrinsic tyrosine kinase activity. So they're talking about RTK, and for RTK we had insulin. So the correct option is first. Thank you.